Let's zoom in on that stream now, the central artery of our canyon. It looks like a simple flow of water, but it is the bloodstream of the jungle, and its chemistry tells a dramatic story of life, death, and geology. This water is not pure in the bottled water sense. It's a rich, organic tea steeped with tannins from decaying leaves which give it that characteristic amber hue, and loaded with dissolved minerals and nutrients from the relentless decomposition above. This black water is acidic and low in sediment, which is why it runs so clear. But its role is monumental. It is the primary transport network for nutrients. Studies from places like the Amazon basin show that these rivers can carry over 200 million tons of dissolved solids to the ocean each year, a literal river of lifeblood minerals. But here's the shocking part. This stream is also a predator. Its flow shapes the very land. During the rainy season, it can swell dramatically, carving into the soft sedimentary rock of the canyon walls, undercutting trees, and causing massive landslides. These landslides, while destructive in the short term, are the ecosystem's reset button. They open up clearings in the dense forest, allowing sunlight to flood the forest floor, triggering a race of fast-growing pioneer plant species to colonize the bare earth. This cycle of destruction and rebirth is vital for maintaining plant diversity. Now, let's look at the life within the stream. It is a world of specialists. Fish have evolved shapes and behaviors for navigating swift currents and finding food in the dark water. Some catfish, for instance, have evolved incredibly sensitive bottles, whisker-like organs, to taste and feel their way along the bottom, finding insect larvae buried in the sediment. Other fish, like certain tetras, have adapted to eat seeds and fruits that fall from overhanging trees, making them crucial dispersers of riparian plants. The stream is also an essential nursery. The flooded areas during the wet season create calm, food-rich backwaters where countless species of fish and amphibians can spawn safely away from the main current's predators. But the interaction goes both ways. The forest feeds the stream. A landmark study published in Nature estimated that over 50% of the carbon in the tissues of small stream fish in the Amazon comes not from aquatic plants, but from terrestrial insects and plant matter that fall into the water. This means the fish are literally made of the forest. A falling fig, a drowned caterpillar, a leaf, these are the packets of energy that fuel the aquatic food web. This tight coupling means that if you cut down the forest, you don't just kill the trees, you starve the stream, collapse the fish populations, and unravel an entire food chain. The stream's temperature is also meticulously regulated by the canopy. The overhanging vegetation provides shade, keeping the water cool, a critical factor for oxygen levels and the survival of cold-blooded aquatic life. Deforestation that removes this shade can raise stream temperatures by several degrees Celsius in a short time, leading to hypoxic, low oxygen conditions and mass die-offs. So this peaceful, babbling brook is a dynamic, powerful, and fragile hydrological engine. It is a geological sculptor, a seasonal planner, a nutrient taxi, a temperature-controlled nursery, and a direct mirror of the forest's health. Its sound may be gentle, but its function is thunderously important. A constant, flowing reminder that in a jungle, everything is connected. You cannot separate the water from the trees or the fish from the forest. They are one single, integrated, pulsing organism. And this organism has an immune system, a set of defenses that are as sophisticated as any in our bodies, which brings us to the silent, chemical warfare happening all around us, a war fought not with teeth and claws, but with toxins and pheromones. Stand perfectly still in this canyon and breathe in. That complex, green, earthy smell is not just a scent. It's the sound of a battlefield. It's the smell of chemical warfare, communication, and medicine all at once. This is the jungle's pharmacopoeia, and it is the most advanced biochemical laboratory on Earth. Every plant, every fungus, every insect is engaged in a relentless arms race of chemical innovation. A plant cannot run from a hungry insect, so it must fight chemically. It produces alkaloids, terpenes, phenols, compounds that taste bitter, induce nausea, or disrupt the nervous system of the herbivore. The classic example is the caffeine produced by many tropical plants. It's a potent neurotoxin for insects. But the insects evolve. They develop detoxifying enzymes. The plants then tweak the molecule, creating a new variant. This coevolutionary arms race, often called the Red Queen hypothesis, where you must run just to stay in place, has generated an unimaginable diversity of chemical compounds. Scientists estimate that less than 1% of the phytochemicals in tropical plants have been thoroughly studied for their properties. Yet, from this tiny fraction, we have derived over 25% of our modern pharmaceuticals. Quinine from the cinchona tree for malaria, vinblastine from the Madagascar periwinkle for cancer, tubacurin from curare vines as a surgical muscle relaxant. The list is vast, but the communication is even more mind-bending. When a leaf on an acacia tree is nibbled by a giraffe, the tree doesn't just take it. Within minutes, it floods its leaves with tannins that make them unpalatable, but it also releases a volatile gas, a chemical scream, into the air. Neighboring acacia trees smell this warning and preemptively start pumping tannins into their own leaves, a communal early warning system. This is interspecies communication. The fungal network we mentioned earlier, the wood wide web, is also a chemical information superhighway. Through it, trees can send distress signals about drought or insect attacks. They can even recognize their own kin, and studies suggest they may direct more nutrients to their own seedlings through the network. This challenges our entire notion of a plant as a solitary, passive organism. They are networked, communicative, and strategic. Now let's talk about the master chemists, the fungi. The mycelial networks don't just transport nutrients, they are chemical factories. They produce powerful antibiotics to fight off bacteria and complex enzymes to break down stubborn materials like lignin in wood. The first antibiotic, penicillin, came from a temperate zone fungus. The biochemical potential locked in the fungi of a tropical canyon is incalculable. Researchers are now finding fungi that can break down plastics, digest petroleum spills, and produce novel compounds that fight drug-resistant bacteria. The air itself is thick with these chemical messages and defenses. The smell of rain after a dry period, that beautiful petrichor, is partly caused by gilman, a chemical produced by soil bacteria called actinomycetes. This scent is a beacon, attracting springtails, tiny insects that disperse the bacteria's spores. Every breath you take here contains a library of biological data, of warning cries, mating calls, and defensive declarations. This chemical landscape is the jungle's true language, its operating system. It's how a stationary organism survives in a world of mobile threats. It's how cooperation is orchestrated across species lines. And it's a treasure trove of molecular blueprints that have taken millions of years of R&D to perfect. We are only beginning to decode this language, and with every hectare of forest lost, we are burning a library of life-saving formulas we haven't even read. This biochemical genius is the hidden force that maintains the balance. But that balance is now being threatened by an external force of unprecedented power, a force that views the canyon not as a complex organism, but as a collection of resources. Brings us to the most critical and uncomfortable chapter in the story of our lush canyon, its economics. We've seen it as an ecosystem, a hydrological system, and a chemical network. Now we must see it as capital. For centuries, its value has been calculated in boardrooms and government plans only in terms of what can be extracted: board feet of timber, tons of ore, acres of cleared land for cattle or palm oil. This is the scene economy. The timber from a single giant hardwood tree might be worth $10,000 on the international market. That's a clear, immediate profit. But this is a catastrophic miscalculation. It's like valuing a human being only for the minerals in their body, ignoring their lifetime of work, creativity, and relationships. The true, staggering value of this canyon lies in the unseen economy, the ecosystem services it provides for free, services that our global civilization depends on to function. Let's put hard numbers to it. First, climate regulation. This patch of jungle is a massive carbon sink. Each hectare can store between 150 to 200 tons of carbon above ground and even more in the soil. When you clear and burn it, that carbon is released as CO2, accelerating climate change. The economic cost of that released carbon in terms of future climate damage is enormous, often far exceeding the short-term profit from the land. Second, water regulation. The forest acts as a giant sponge. It captures rainfall, slows its release into the stream, and prevents catastrophic flooding downstream where cities and farms are located. It also filters the water, removing sediments and pollutants. The cost of building and maintaining a man-made water filtration plant to do the same job is in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Third, pollination and pest control. Insects, birds, and bats from this forest pollinate agricultural crops hundreds of miles away. They also act as natural pest control, saving farmers billions in pesticide costs. Fourth, biodiversity and the option value. As we saw, this canyon is a library of genetic and chemical information. The next cure for cancer, the next wonder material, could be encoded in a plant or fungus right here. Destroying it is like burning the only copy of a medical textbook before we've read it. Economists have tried to quantify this. Studies, such as those by Robert Costanza, have estimated the value of global ecosystem services at over $825 trillion per year, far greater than the entire global GDP. A specific study on the Amazon suggested that standing forest provides over $1,000 per hectare per year in ecosystem services, while cleared land for cattle might yield less than $100. The math is unequivocal. The forest is worth more alive than dead. Yet, the economic incentives are broken. The profit from destruction is immediate and flows to a few individuals or corporations. The profit from preservation is long-term, diffuse, and benefits everyone, including future generations. This is the fundamental paradox. Our canyon is a priceless piece of natural infrastructure, but our current accounting system treats it as disposable inventory. It provides the very stability, climate stability, hydrological stability, biological stability that our human economies require to exist. Yet we are liquidating it for a one-time cash payment. This isn't just an environmental issue, it's the greatest market failure in human history. We are hacking apart our own life support system and calling it growth. But this is not a hopeless story, because understanding this economic truth is the first step towards changing it. And that change starts with you, right here, right now. So, where does this leave us? And more importantly, where does it leave you? You are now armed with a new lens. You no longer see just a pretty scene. You see a vertical metropolis, a hydrological engineer, a chemical communications hub, and a piece of critical economic infrastructure. This knowledge is not meant to paralyze you with guilt, but to empower you with perspective. The fate of places like this canyon is not sealed. It is being written every day by collective choices, and you have more influence over those choices than you might think. The first and most powerful thing you can do is to become a translator of this hidden reality. Share this video. Explain to one person why that patch of green on a map isn't just trees, but an active climate stabilizer, a water factory, and a pharmaceutical lab. Shift the narrative in your own circles. Second, vote with your wallet. Be conscious of the supply chains behind the products you buy. Commodities like beef, soy, palm oil, and timber are primary drivers of tropical deforestation. Choosing products certified by organizations like the Forest Stewardship Council, FSC, for wood, or looking for commitments to deforestation-free supply chains from companies sends a direct market signal. Support companies that are transparent about their sourcing. Third, Support organizations on the ground that are working on real, tangible solutions. This isn't just about throwing money at a problem, it's about funding the right strategies. Support indigenous communities who have been the stewards of these forests for millennia. Studies show that indigenous managed forests have deforestation rates that are often half or less of those in other areas. They are the most effective guardians we have. Support scientific research that is cataloging biodiversity and finding sustainable, non-extractive economic value, like ecotourism or the bioprospecting for new medicines under fair agreements. Fourth, engage politically. Let your representatives know that you care about international agreements that protect forests, that you support policies that put a real economic value on ecosystem services, and that you want your country to be part of the solution, not the problem. Finally, and this is the most profound step, reconnect with the nature that is local to you. You don't need to be in a jungle canyon to appreciate the principles at work. A local park, a stream, a patch of woodland, they all operate on the same fundamental rule of interconnection, competition, and symbiosis. Foster that connection. The more people who feel a direct, visceral link to the natural world, the more powerful the collective will to protect its grandest expressions becomes. This lush canyon with its flowing stream is a masterpiece of evolution, a testament to life's ingenuity and resilience. But its continued existence is now a testament to our ingenuity, our values, and our ability to think beyond the short term. You started this video seeing a postcard. You're ending it as an informed citizen of a planet that is alive, interconnected, and precious beyond measure. You are now part of the story. The next chapter is yours to write. Don't let this knowledge sit idle. Share this video right now with someone who needs to see the world this way. Smash that like button to boost this message in the algorithm so more minds can be rewired. Subscribe and hit the notification bell because this channel is dedicated to pulling back the curtain on the hidden realities of our planet, and we have so much more to explore together. Tell me in the comments below what part of this hidden jungle world shocked you the most. Was it the wood wide web, the chemical warfare, or the economic math? And most importantly, what is one specific action you will take this week to translate this knowledge into impact? The stream in that canyon keeps flowing, doing its vital work. Now it's your turn to flow, to carry this information out into your world. Let's get to work.